Turn on the TV. Now, time for the morning report with my all-time favorite news guy, Skip Loescher.
Just a moment. Kermit the Frog must have a ringside seat for this event.
Slow down, Frog. It's only Skip Loescher.
Oh, contrary, doggy. It's Skip Man's last performance. He's going to Washington to be somebody.
What the heck is he now? A nobody? Like WCCO TV morning report with a big nobody, Skip Loescher.
Of course he's somebody. He's going to Washington to be a big shot with the Capitol Press Corps.
Oh, yeah, I can see him now with Barbara Walters and Dan Rather and all them guys. Hi, this is Barbara Walters, and I'm Dan Rather, and this big nobody over here is Skip Loescher.
That's not fair.
Fair? I'll tell you about the fair. I used to go out there to get autographs, and I had to get one from Loescher one time. They said I couldn't get a Channel 4 bag unless I accepted it. I'll never forget how long it took him to print out his whole name.
His job will be to follow the Washington politicians around and find out what's going on and what's doing out there. Report back here to Minnesota and Wisconsin.
I never thought I'd feel sorry for politicians.
Well, I just wanted to wish old Skippy a goodbye and good luck.
Yeah, and good riddance. And hey, Skip, stay out of the tidal basin.
So let's hear it for WCCO TV and the New Washington News Bureau and the great and wonderful Skip Loescher. Yay!
See ya, Frog. Now, get me some shut-eye. Wake me up when Shelby comes on. Yeah, on second thought, don't.
Fritz always has looked green at this time in the morning, and Shelby's mouth's about that size, come to think of it. Big news in sports, a tentative agreement of the baseball strike following 50 days of no baseball. Tony Parker with that story and all the rest of the sports in just a minute. 14 minutes past 7 o'clock, 70 in town.
This Career Network report, sponsored by WCCO TV, salutes the Career Clinic, sponsored by the YWCA. The Career Clinic program is designed for those wishing to enter or re-enter the job market, change careers, or pursue upward mobility. The philosophy of Career Clinic is to assist you in assessing yourself, your values, interests, abilities, and past experiences. Hopefully, you will then identify ways of investing yourself in meaningful career activities. The services offered include intake interviews. This is a one-to-one consultation with a counselor who will help you focus on your individual career development plans. At this time, you may also take a vocational interest test. For more information about the YWCA Career Clinic, call 332-0501. This is John Gallus. Watch for our next Career Network report.
Well, we think the strike's over, but from what you just told me during the commercial, it sounds a little more questionable than we even thought at the beginning of the program.
Well, you know, Greavy is still his abrasive self. Miller's still saying the same things, and they're posturing a little bit. They say there are details to be ironed out, so, you know, it's supposed to be over, and we don't know. We got a week to go yet. Anyway, here's what we do know. Players will report for practice tomorrow. The season will officially resume August 10th when they pick up the regular schedule. Well, over 500 games have been missed because of the strike. They will not be made up. The All-Star game will be played on August 9th in Cleveland, one day before the resumption of the regular season. Now, the owner's chief negotiator, Ray Greavy, says the agreement would allow the owners to use a split schedule if they choose. Neither side would discuss details of the agreement, but it's believed the owners accepted the players' concept of a pool system for compensation when a team loses a free agent player. Now, both negotiators, Miller and Greavy, showed the strain of their all-night negotiating session when they faced a barrage of TV cameras early this morning. Randy Daniels reports from New York.
Marvin Miller, the chief negotiator for the Baseball Players Association, spoke first, but offered few details.
We have indeed made a settlement subject to ratification by the usual ratification procedures of each side. Under the terms of the settlement, the first workouts will start Saturday,
A tired and irritable Ray Grebe, who represented club owners, refused to go to the podium while Miller was talking. Only after Miller left the podium did Grebe offer his assessment of the agreement, saying the fans were the real winners.
Back on the headlines, we're going to play ball. The strike is an unfortunate interruption. Both sides are glad it's over. They signed an agreement that has something in it for both sides.
Well, the Twins will have Billy Martin and his Oakland A's in town for their second opener of the season on Monday night, August 10th in Met Stadium. Well, the Vikings opened their 1981 training camp in Mankato yesterday. They have 9 days to prepare for that first preseason game, August 9th against Miami in Met Stadium. And the group of some 74 veterans, draftees, and free agents appeared to be in excellent condition in their initial workout. WCCO TV's Dennis Dragg filed this report on the camp opener that had a different twist this year.
Wait, this is supposed to be the opening of the Vikings training camp. So why the picket signs? The Vikings practice field is cared for by members of the striking State Employees Union. The NFL's Player Association wanted Bud Grant to take his troops elsewhere so as not to cross the picket line. But that was impossible at this late date. The two sides finally compromised through a free access clause. The Vikings even demonstrated their support of the strikers. Politics aside, there are very few question marks concerning this Viking team. Most of the starting positions are set. However, a few new faces are expected to see some action. Minnesota's trio of second-round draft choices is led by Marty McDowell from Mississippi State. He's competing with 4 veterans at wide receiver, but the Vikings are geared to a passing game, so McDowell should see plenty of action. If Nebraska's Jarvis Redwine lives up to his college ability, Ricky Young and Ted Brown could feel the pressure at running back.
It comes down to, the point where we're the last team to report in and all. And from that standpoint, I know that the Viking coaching staff knows what they're doing, and, they'll give everybody a fair shot and a fair look.
And Skip, one other sports story in the news this morning. That's also a dispute, this time in the courts. That jury in Los Angeles in the antitrust trial against the National Football League, where the Oakland Raiders want to move their franchise to L.A., has not reached a verdict yet. So they're in the courts trying to decide.
Lovely. And while you were on, Tony, a disquieting report into CCO's newsroom. Northern States Power Company reports that about 2,000 gallons of radioactively contaminated water leaked from the nuclear power plant at Monticello about 9:15 last night. A guard apparently noticed the leak and then reported it to the plant's control room. It is estimated the leak lasted about 5 minutes. We are told by NSP that the water followed an earth pathway that led to the Mississippi River. Some of the water, however, was recycled through the plant's cooling system. NSP says it does not believe that the radioactive leak poses a threat to either human or wildlife. NSP spokesman Wayne Kaplan does say the company notified federal and state officials about that leak at the Monticello nuclear power plant at 9:15 last night. Wall Street reacts to President Reagan's tax cut victory. We'll tell you what the investors did. And Bill Carlson will take us to the movies and more in just a moment. It's 7:20 right now, 70 in the Twin Cities.
Ford network is taking to the open road. We're talking with Ford owners at home, on the farm, at work and at play. Taking the Northland Ford network van everywhere people drive Ford cars and trucks. Stay tuned. Find out how the Northland feels about Ford.
This is the Northland Ford network. We're heading north.
The president's tax cut victory came as good news to Wall Street. In active trading yesterday, the Dow Industrials finishing up the day 7.71. On the average share of stock on the New York Exchange, up 20 cents during trading yesterday. On the Amex, 3 cents higher. The price of gold also slightly higher this morning after trading yesterday. Gold in New York up $1. Silver was down, though, 10.1 cents an ounce. Let's go to Bill Carlson now to find out what is going on this weekend and what we can take in. Hi,
Skip, I was just looking over the calendar and reminded me that county fairs are in full swing all around our area. You may want to take one of those in, the one nearest you. For example, this weekend you'll find county fairs underway in Rock County, Faribault, St. Louis, Washington, Wright, Sibley County, Kanabec County, Otter Tail County, Lincoln County, and Monoman County. Of course, that is to say nothing of the Great Pelican Turkey Trot at Pelican Rapids and Brooklyn Park's Tater Days. Yes, it's a celebrating time of year. And as if that weren't all enough, there's a world horseshoe tournament right now underway at Pierce, Minnesota. That remarkable Summerfest continues at Orchestra Hall this weekend, and it's Mahler's Second Symphony this weekend. And also, over the weekend, this man will arrive in the Twin Cities area. Recognize him? Probably looks familiar, but that beard throws you off a little, doesn't it? He's a 2-time Emmy winner, comes from a family rich in classical musical tradition, and if you're about to give up, it's Werner Klemperer, perhaps better known to many as Colonel Klink in that popular TV show Hogan's Heroes. He'll be here to host a special Viennese coffee concert this coming week. Movie suggestion for the weekend, and it's one of those graduates of Saturday Night Live again. They keep letting them make movies no matter how badly they fail, it seems. Actually, I think this is one of the better of those efforts. It's Bill Murray and Company in Stripes. It's a freewheeling, irreverent comedy, and as such, I think has lots of ups and downs. That tends to be the case in this kind of unbridled humor. What tends to be hysterically funny to me may find you barely cracking a smile. It's all a matter of percentages, I guess, and I think Murray comes out on the positive side of the ledger in this motion picture, Stripes. Incidentally, watch for the brief but revealing movie debut of Twin City native Roberta Layton, who up until recently has been featured on the CBS soap opera The Young and the Restless. Incidentally, a sidelight movie suggestion for the youngsters in your family this weekend might be the offering at the Walker Arts Center tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. It was conceived and written by Theodore Seuss Geisel, better known to most of us as Dr. Seuss, and it stars Hans Conried as a character who is a cross between Dr. Frankenstein and Busby Berkeley, I guess. It's visually rich musical fantasy, The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. It's tomorrow morning, 10:30 at Walker Arts Center. And incidentally, Skip, because this is your last appearance on the morning report, at least in the chair where you're now sitting, before you take over your new assignment as director of Channel 4's Washington Bureau, we did want to make this show memorable for you. Whoops. So we dug through our file tapes.
I knew it was coming.
And we came up with this little gem. This is not an early morning report, although it may look like it a bit. It's a clip from the 10 o'clock news in 1967. In some ways, Skip, we could say you've certainly grown in your job.
Yeah, width-wise, especially.
For those of us who are senior citizens here at Channel 4, those are memorable days.
I think so. Thank you, Billy. I figured somebody was going to dig that one up somewhere. Let me get out of this and go up to our Live on the Sky traffic copter. Dale Dobish.
Okay, Skip, we're out over the Washington Trail here. As you can see, traffic headed for Washington is non-existent. We do want to advise you to watch out for the bridge and also the tidal basin out here. But, Skip, I don't think anybody's going with you to Washington. Anyhow, traffic in the rest of the metropolitan area is moving pretty much normally. No problems to report anywhere. So have a good trip and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Dad. At least my horses won't get confused that way. Dan Carlson, what do you have? I hate to think.
Well, Skip, present conditions. How's that? Right now in the Twin Cities, it's 70 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. That's 21 on the Celsius scale. Our humidity is at 81%. The pressure 3006 and rising. Winds are south at 17. Our forecast is for mostly cloudy skies today with a good chance of showers or thunderstorms. Our high will be 84. The overnight low 67. Winds will be south at 10 to 20. Partly cloudy then tomorrow with a chance of thunderstorms. Once again, tomorrow's high about 83 degrees. And Skip, since they have outlawed my snowman jokes in the United States, I've been unable to publish them in any book, but I did manage to get you a Riddles to Color coloring book to help you pass the time a little bit while you're opening your new bureau at Washington. Such goodies as how do you make an elephant float, Skip?
You want me to answer that?
Yes, how do you make an elephant?
Oh, I don't know. How do you make it float?
Lots of root beer and ice cream.
Oh, well, Certainly I'll miss that. I think senility is set in at a very young age someplace. Repeating the headlines this morning, if you did not hear it, a major headline, Northern States Power reporting 2,000 gallons of radioactively contaminated water has leaked from the nuclear power plant at Monticello. That happened at 9:15 last night. Some of that water made its way to the Mississippi, but NSP says it does not believe that it will pose a threat to human or wildlife. Finally, a personal note. As I guess is fairly apparent now, I'll be heading to Washington, D.C. next week to supervise the establishment and operation of the CCO Washington Bureau. And beginning this fall, I'll be reporting live by satellite from Washington on what the federal government is doing for us and to us here in Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Really, although I hate to leave the state, it's an exciting prospect for an old political reporter like me, and I certainly hope our reports will prove interesting. In the meantime, hope you will continue to watch the Morning Report, and my thanks to all the people who have worked so hard all night long, all these many months, to make these broadcasts possible. And a final word, not really in my words, but in the words of the person who's taught me more about on-camera presentations than anyone else. The scene, the DuPont Columbia Awards ceremonies just a few months back, when the Moore Report was again cited for excellence. But the thought applies equally to the news department.
And I want to tell you that these trips are the result of a determined, community-conscious television station management that is not only determined to build a strong, skillful public affairs documentary unit, but to provide that unit with the time and the talent and the tools and the money and the freedom and the possibility of a great loss of an angry, outraged advertiser to bring the community what it really ought to have.